What's up, everyone? My name is Tyler. I go by Beekle. I'm a content creator, videographer, photographer. I'm starting a series called Feel Good Edits, and kind of the purpose of it is that I just want to edit a photo a week. My philosophy behind it is kind of just that there's not really any wrong way to create art. Like, I know a lot of people will say, oh, you got to edit it this way, you got to do something that way. This is the best way to get the sharpest image possible, or whatever. But really, it comes down to, like, if you like the image, if you like what you've made, if it makes you feel happy, that's the most important thing. No matter what it is to somebody else, if it's something special to you, that's kind of where I find happiness in my art. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to pick some photos from shows that I've shot in the past or things that I'm currently working on. And we're just going to kind of run through them together. We'll start with a raw image. We'll go through and edit the photo. I'm currently live streaming this, which is weird because I've never done that before. I edit my photos in Lightroom just using the Creative Cloud version of Lightroom. So this is kind of where we'll start. This is a picture from June 2018. I shot a show here in Omaha. It was Volumes. This is Upon a Burning Body. Who else was on that show? I can't even remember. So I like this image because I like the fact that he's kind of separated with this white light in the background. Somehow they have just a cloud of haze hanging out back there. So I definitely like kind of this main focal point. Things I don't like about the composition, we've got two people over here side stage. This photographer, if you don't know who that is, it's Rosario Gutierrez. She's insanely talented. So if you haven't checked out her work, or if you're interested in seeing some really cool inspirational stuff, you should go give her a follow. She's extremely talented. And then we've got a guitar player here, which is kind of detracting from kind of my center point that I talked about earlier, which is really this focal point of the vocalist here. So the first thing that I want to do is take this photo, and I want to kind of clean up some of these things that are distracting. So I'm in Photoshop now. I'm going to end up cropping most of this out. Basically, I'm just going to worry about the guitar player here. So now I have two images in here. I've got one with the guitarist's leg in the way and one with my jankily painted out. So the next thing I want to do is just crop this where I had that. I don't want too much of this white space. Other things in this photo that I'm not a huge fan of, I don't really like this light back here, and I'm just going to go ahead and use Lightrooms. So this was the same thing that I was doing in Photoshop. So I'm just painting this kind of light standout in the back. Another thing that I just feel like detracts a little bit from the image and doesn't need to be there. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. Okay, so this was our original crop or composition. This is our new composition here. You can see a lot more focus. I might just take it up just a little bit. A lot more focus on our subject here. We're getting rid of some of those distracting features in the background. Okay, so here comes the fun stuff. I'm going to play around with the color balance. So it's a super yellow image to start with. His skin tone, probably not that yellow in real life. So I'm just going to bring it down and cool the image down quite a bit. You can use the white balance tool if you want to and just click on either a really white or really dark area and it'll kind of try to auto do it. But once again, the philosophy is whatever makes you happy. So I'm going to kind of give myself a little bit of a stylized look because I like that green in there a little bit. And then I'm going to play around with some of the color mixers. Because we've got kind of like this pinkish hue that's on the symbols back here, blue light back there in the background, then we've got some orange over here. I'm probably going to go like a little bit of blue, a little bit of orange on this photo. So I'm going to play around. I'll go hue first. I want to take my yellows and just make them a little bit more orange because we want kind of that pop of orange. I'm an orange teal fan, but that's just me personally, and that's kind of the colors that we have in this photo. His jeans are pretty blue. We've got that light in the background. So I'm just going to take that over to the oranges a little bit. Greens, I don't think we're going to have much green to play with. He's got a little bit of green that's showing up in his jeans, so I'm probably going to take that just closer to the blue. Get that out of there. Aqua, not doing much. I always want to just kind of err on the side of blue because that's the vibe I'm going to go for this photo. And then I'll take my blue slider and I'm going to pull it down just a little bit because I want to get some of that teal. You can kind of see it coming out in the background here, where that light is and that haze in the background, and then a little bit over here on his drum set as well. And then, so we've got this pink kind of reflecting in the cymbals here. I want to get rid of that for the most part if I can, just because I want to kind of go with the two colors. So I'm going to move my purple slider down just a little bit. We'll take some of that purple to more of a blue. Okay, what else we got in here? We got the orange slider. So this one is going to make stuff look pretty like mealy. I don't usually play with the oranges because it affects the skin tone a lot unless there's like a lot of a specific orange in there. So I'm going to kind of just leave that the way that it is. And then reds, we shouldn't really have too many reds in this photo. I don't see much of it. I might take it just over to the oranges a little bit. It looks like it's affecting like his cab in the background. You can see changes a little bit, and then there's a little bit on the drums too and the cymbals. So I'm just going to take that over to the right there just a little bit. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is go to my saturation panel and I'm going to play with these blues and oranges. So I know we had a little aqua back there. I'm just going to crank the saturation on my aquas and my blues a little bit. Try to get some more of that purple out of there if I can. Take that down just a little bit. And then we'll bump up some of the orange, making sure that we're not hitting his skin tones too hard. And then I still don't see any reds, so I think we're okay there. So that's probably where I'm going to leave it. I might take that blue and just bump up the luminance a little bit so it's really shining in there in the background. And same with my aqua. Yeah, I'm vibing with that. I think that's good. So once again, just to give you a little progress update as we're going. You got the original orange pukey, looks like somebody threw up on the photo. And we wanted to get that to more of like a natural look, getting our white balance right, getting our colors right. So this is where we're at right now. So that looks pretty natural for what probably his skin tones looked like, or what it looked like there without the yellow light, harsh yellow light. So I'm going to move into kind of our light panel now. I'm going to take my shadows and I'm probably going to just bring them down just a little bit. I really want to separate kind of like the background and even like this drum kit and stuff from our focal point here, which once again is our vocalist. Exposure looks fine to me. Crank the contrast. I'm probably going to take it down a little bit just because we're losing a little bit of detail in like his face here. If we go too high up, you're going to see you can't really see his eyes anymore. So I'm going to bring that down just a little bit so we can see just a little bit of his eyes. We're not losing too much detail there. Bring my shadows down just a little bit. I'm going to bump the highlights just a tad. You can see how it's kind of making that shadow or the light up top bounce a little bit, but I don't want to do it too much because we'll start to lose some detail on his hat. I might actually bring these down a little bit and take my whites up because I want that light up top to look massive with the haze there. And then I'm going to take my blacks and bring those down just a little bit, kind of darken things up. I'm going to take my vibrance up a little bit, so that's kind of all like the colors around, like your main like saturation will do everything. Vibrance is like the color and the highlights and stuff. And then we'll come down here. You can play with like your clarity, which is going to sharpen stuff up, but it's also going to bring out a lot of noise. You can see like the edge of his arm, since it's so dark against that white, is getting really sharp there when we bump that up. We don't want to look like unnatural or anything when we do it, but we want to definitely get that separation here. From here, I'll probably throw a little vignette on here just because once again it's going to bring some attention to our center point here. And I'm going to round that just a bit, take my midpoint out so it's not coming in too far, and then feather it a tad too. Okay, so kind of taking a step back, I'm not a huge fan. Trying to decide if I want to crop this in or not. I like having the drum kit in there and a little bit of the drummer, but like let's see what it looks like without him. Because this wall back here, I might roll with that actually. This is the original. Yellow poopy butts. We had guy's leg over here that I got rid of. Um, got kind of rid of that pink and all the nasty yellowness. Hop over to the actual edit. It's pretty clean. I went with a supernatural look on this one. I really like the way that this separation happened here. It's important when you're shooting too to always like try to get some creative angles. I was probably standing all the way at the front of the crowd on my knees, usually is something that I'll do. I'll try to shoot up because the more separation you have with the things that are on the stage physically, the bigger your person looks. So like if their head is in the lights, or if you have a big like haze catching some light like this, subject will look a lot bigger and a lot cooler if you have kind of that separation and that different angle. So yeah, I was probably on my knees because you can see how low this drum kit is. So my camera was probably about stage level when I was shooting this. You should do these more so I can learn. I'm planning on doing a whole bunch of them, so trying to kind of button down when I want to do things. My current thought right now is I'm probably going to stream on Tuesdays. I'll put up kind of like an edited, condensed video of the stream where it's just catching like the important parts of the editing process and what I'm thinking. On Fridays, I'm hoping to drop those. I'll kind of post the photos finished before and afters and all that. Probably Saturday or Sunday, something like that. So it'll just be a fun little process for me, once again, to get some content out there, to play around with more editing, get better at what I do. And then also, I mean, if I can provide some value to everyone else to just learn um, either some tips and tricks for editing or the bigger picture, which is literally when you edit a photo, just edit it to your tastes. Get out there and practice and just take the photo to a point where it makes you happy. I'm sure that like a lot of artists aren't thinking about all the technical aspects when they make their art, and it really just it's whatever brings you joy. The Marie Kondo of photography here. So thanks for stopping by and watching me fumble my way through a photo edit. If you want to follow me, links are in the description. I have no idea how to make that thing look not ugly, so I'm probably going to ask some friends that stream to make my channel look less bad. But yeah, thanks for stopping by, and I will see you next time on Tuesday-ish, maybe like 8 o'clock. Sound like a date? Put it in your calendar? All right, cool. Peace out, everyone.